Hello, thank you for being here on a very beautiful spring day. And thank you so much to the Art Center and Art Center staff. Like Fredo and I'm sure everyone else, I've also enjoyed programming here for the last 10 years that I've lived here, and it's a real honor to be a part of that programming today. I'm going to speak to you a little bit today about Des Moines Refugee Support, an organization that I volunteer for, which sort of led me into the research with Haitian maternal care, and also led me to being a very small part, but also a big part of this wonderful exhibit by creating this great project with Mia and Brittany that I'll speak about in a little bit, Haitian family portraits. So first I want to say that I moved here from South Florida. I see that all the speakers today have some South Florida connection, which is natural with Haiti also. And so a lot of my research was focused on maternal care with Maya populations from Guatemala and their maternal health-seeking behavior and how that changed from the highlands of Guatemala to South Florida and how migration influenced the maternal health-seeking behavior in both locations. And so when I moved here from South Florida, the Guatemalan population was not the same, not as large and not and so my research kept evolving with culture and migration, but continue to be very involved in the idea of how health is influenced by migration. So, service is a major part of my personal and professional life. And so when I moved here, I also started looking into organizations that I could help support and be a part of, and came across Des Moines Refugee Support, and I'm very happy I did. And it's been my full-time job that is not paid, but I'm very proud of being a part of it. So this organization helps families that are new to Iowa, that helps them, and there's Sadina, one of the goddesses from Refugee Support, just walked in. So it helps families kind of integrate and helps them with, it started because there were children that didn't have jackets and shoes at school, basically. So teachers saw this need and started helping families have the basic need of jackets, and they were families coming from Africa, Latin America, and Middle East that had not seen weather like this before, but didn't have the clothing necessary, transportation needs, and they also helped them do things outside of school that they were passionate about, like soccer, which here requires a great amount of money compared to in other countries. And so this organization is very special in many ways, and to me, my grandparents on both sides are also refugees, and so it was significant to me to contribute to this organization, and I still do. Which led me to, in 2021, the Haitian population here got on our radar, initially through Allison Holman is the founder of Refugee Support. She's the only, I have to say this, the only full-time employee, and everybody else is a volunteer. So that's critical to this organization. But Erin Bell is on the board, and she's also a colleague at Drake, and she is very passionate about the Haitian population and their needs, because she, as a volunteer nurse after the 2010 earthquake, has been 8 times. And so she really connected with the people and really loves helping. And so a family reached out to her that needed very basic needs. And after that, I realized that unlike most of my Haitian friends that I've made in Florida, these families were almost fluent in Spanish, which in Florida, that would also be the case if they had either lived in the Dominican Republic or learned Spanish. But this was kind of interesting, and I learned that many of these families were coming here from Latin America. So I was helping out with translation because I speak Spanish. So this is where the differences of population, and I started noticing this. So this led me to help a lot with different needs, including housing and assisting them with getting basic needs like beds, registering for schools, ensuring that they had the vaccines necessary to register for school, transportation, clothing, and also helping women navigate their maternal care here in Iowa. And so during that time, I had a lot of really amazing, meaningful experiences, and one of them that was extremely difficult was the loss of a baby girl who in 2023 passed away after 2 weeks. of being alive, but in critical condition for those 2 weeks. And so that experience for me led me to believe that we needed to kind of better understand the maternal health care here for Haitian women, because Haiti is has among the highest maternal mortality rates in the Western Hemisphere at 480 per 100,000 live births, compared to Dominican Republic, which is 95. And that's just to give you an idea of how bad it is in terms of maternal health care and infant care. So I really wanted to better understand, just like I did with my women, just what they perceive their care to be here, and so that we can maybe better understand how we can support their needs. It's really important to talk about the context of migration of Haiti in general, and then more specifically in central Iowa. In the last several decades, there's been a rise in Haiti and migration out of Haiti due to natural disasters, including the 2010 earthquake, floods, hurricanes, political unrest, lack of economic and educational opportunities. And so that has really increased even more so over the last 10 years. So what's kind of different in the populations now is many are migrating to Brazil and Chile, staying there about, between 4 to 6 years, and then making their way to the US. And I have to talk a little bit about the Darien Gap, because I didn't know enough about this when I first met the Haitian families here, and now that I know, I have just so much respect for everything that they do in order to get here and just to survive. So this is about a 66 kilometer, about 100 miles of land that is between Panama and Colombia. It's when you get to Colombia, then get to Panama. The Pan American Highway connects South America and North America, and the only place where there is no road is between here because of the treacherous conditions, which include just mountains and a lot of swamps and just areas that are really, really hard to navigate. No roads, very limited cell phone service, if at all. And the dangers of crossing there are tropical diseases, sexual assault, gang criminal activity, wild animals like poisonous snakes, crocodiles, and jaguars and such. So it is an extremely dangerous crossing, and women and children are doing this as well. So, and in the hundreds of thousands over the last several years, as you can see. So it takes, from the people I spoke with, said it's between 5 to 7 days of just walking, and at some points, like, you lose each other. A lot of the kids that I've spoken with talked about drinking water next to bodies that are floating, because that's their only source of water. So this is a really traumatic way to cross. And so they get to Panama, and in Panama there's refugee clinics, and they help them, and then help them get across. And then they still have all of Central America, and then the US, where they try to seek asylum at the border. And those are kind of the numbers. And for the Darien Gap, it's also increased significantly over the years. And again, I want to say that children and pregnant women are also crossing, oftentimes losing each other along the way and reuniting later. So, in the context of the Midwest, something that's really different is that, unlike moving to Florida first, or other areas that have larger populations of Haitians, many are coming directly to the Midwest after learning about housing opportunities and job opportunities. And so that is a difference that we're experiencing over the years. But these are the cities, Chicago, Detroit, Indianapolis, Minnesota, that have growing Haitian populations. There is not a lot of specific data about Haiti. There's some IPR and some Haitian Times articles. So what I'm sharing is often from my personal and my research experience. Here in Iowa, they're moving in central Iowa, Ankeny, Altoona, Des Moines, West Des Moines, Waukee, Urbandale, and Perry. And this is not to say that the housing conditions are good. Sadina and I visited a home once in April. It was really cold, and there were no windows. I mean, the windows were broken completely. So it doesn't mean that the housing conditions are good. They are cheaper than other places, and there are more jobs. So, hang on. So, from my Haitian maternal care experiences, I interviewed 10 women in 2024, and these are not just women, they're my friends that I've been working with since 2021, and so the conversations were really meaningful and special to learn more about their experiences. Most of them had not completed elementary school. Some had graduated high school, and one had some post-secondary education. Many of them knew Spanish really well. Some of them had lived in Dominican Republic for a number of years, but all lived in Chile or Brazil before coming here. So for the interviews, I had a wonderful friend from South Florida, Stephanie Sens, helped me translate at all but two of them, just in case they just wanted to speak in their maternal language. Here we go. So these are some of the questions. We talked about pre- and postnatal experiences in every place where they gave birth prior to moving to the US, and that was Brazil, Chile, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and then Florida before Iowa as well. And just kind of their overall sense of it. So all the questions minus how could it be improved in Iowa, everybody was asked about each birth experience. When I talk about barriers, I also want to talk about access to care, because similarly to understanding why people aren't seeking care, we have to understand what is making them seek care so we can replicate those conditions and better understand what people's needs are. I identified a lot of what I thought were barriers that I then learned that were not. That's the good thing about research. You come in with an idea and then you're humbled. And I did a lot of that based on my experience with my women, and it's a very different population, right? So cost was not a problem anywhere other than Haiti. And in Haiti, cost was a problem to the point where many women gave birth at home, some of them without assistance. Many did not have prenatal assistance. Many had doulas or midwives helping at home. Culture, no problem. Unlike my women, they loved every part of the hospital experience. They were happy and grateful to receive it. Ultrasounds, not a problem. Blood drawn, not a problem. They were just grateful and happy to have a hospital and have hospital access. One part that was difficult was migration. So 3 of them crossed that 66 kilometers, about 100 miles of land while pregnant. And so that means that they didn't have maternal care through much of their journey. And one of them had a quote, and she said, when I was crossing the border, I crossed a ravine. When I arrived at customs, I have these 2 legs. I could not tolerate the pain that they were in, and they had to give me a place to sit. I walked a lot. When I was 3 months, while walking the Darien Forest and Panama Forest, I thought I lost a baby because I was losing a lot of blood. When I got to Panama, I was crying, and my husband said, the baby is there. And when I went to the hospital, they did a test for me, and they told me the baby is still there. After you've walked in the forest and you've slept in the mud all day, they do a little refugee clinic when you get there, and the people go and they check their health, and I went to check, and I saw that I was still pregnant. Even in this, what Truska was talking about, speaking in many different tenses at the same time. So I have these 2 legs. They couldn't walk anymore. She was going back and forth, and it was kind of just a really interesting experience talking to her. But their concern was for their baby. So it was really difficult to cross like that. Language, as I mentioned, that there was in the clinics, when they spoke Spanish, they used the Spanish, but also they were fine with the remote interpretation services. And then transportation. So Des Moines Refugee Support volunteers took women to many of their appointments, took them back home sometimes after giving birth. They use clinic transportation. The clinics have Ubers and taxis that they sometimes pay when people can't get there. Public transportation, bus, very few personal and acquaintance vehicles. Perception of care. The perception of care was overall really good. From all but one person. They like the wait times. Apparently in Florida, you wait all day and you are not seen. And you come in and they tell you to come in at 9 a.m. 2 women said this. And then you're waiting and it's 2 p.m. and you're still sitting there and you're 8 months pregnant and you're waiting to be, this is from their experience, you're waiting to be seen, but you haven't yet. And they give you an appointment, but when you go through Medicaid, you often don't have the experience of coming in at 9 and being seen by 9:15. But in Iowa, they were very happy with the time and the way that they were supported, and that there was no issue with cost either. So the woman her baby passed away, obviously had a very difficult experience and had a different perception of her maternal care here. She's had another baby since, and he's healthy, but that never replaces this experience and this loss that she had. So I do want to start to honor her with her words and her experiences of how she felt. So she had given birth in Brazil, and she felt like that was the most exceptional care she had ever received. And she says, you don't pay a dime. And then there are days where you can't go to the doctor, but the doctor comes to you, and they move the doctor to come to you with a nurse and all these things. That's why when my daughter died, I was very upset, and I miss Brazil a lot, because when the child is in your belly, they really monitor you in Brazil. The government watches you a lot, and they make sure they do everything you can so you don't lose a child, because they know any child that is born in the country, they are a citizen of the country. And then she talks about when she went and she wasn't listened to when she had pains, and then the next time that she came back, there was an emergency situation. So she says, that week I found all the doctors that used to consult me in the clinic in the emergency. I woke up with a pain and my husband took me to the emergency. The doctors consulted me. They did x-rays and everything. I told them one thing. I told them, I know my body, this is not my first child. It was her 4th pregnancy. I feel like I'm not well. The pregnancy and I are not compatible and I'm not doing well. But they never listened to that part. And we had to break up this interview in bits because I care a lot about this person, and this was an emotional conversation that we had. So, and my friend, the interpreter, had a difficult birthing experience as well, so we were very respectful of their time and emotions, but it was a difficult conversation to have. All of the other women just loved everything to do with Iowa and maternal care. They say the treatment's different because they help you, they wipe your face, they're helping you with the pain, and they're giving you courage, and the pain becomes less. Oh, here it's better. There was a lot of laughing when I asked, like, what do you think about it here? Like, it's much better. Because when you're giving birth, there's many doctors. They talk about it in Haiti when you're in pain. The doctor leaves you screaming in pain because there's only one doctor with you. However, here it's many doctors that are with you and they talk to you. And if the pain is too much, they give you a shot and they help you with it. So between Haiti, Santo Domingo, Florida, and Iowa, it's different. Iowa takes more care of people. So they say in Haiti, the hospital that's closest might not have medicine. You could drive for an hour and a half, and if you're not healthy, you can die, which means it's different. In Florida, I didn't have a doula. They didn't give me a doula that was there with me. In Iowa, they gave me a doula, and she was helping me, and that's why I say it was different. When I was in Florida, I didn't get those things. And this was a positive quote. I really applaud all the people that are here with me. They gave me good service. The people who visited me, they called me on the phone. I don't have anything to say because the people in Iowa, when they're with you, they're with you. And they're with you all the way. And then she says, I don't have enough words to thank you. That's what was next. What's missing there? So what I want to say before I talk about this and show you some photos. First, I was really happy when Beth and Mia invited me to come think and brainstorm about ideas of how we can bring the Haitian community into this exhibit, because after all, it's art from their country and it's a great thing to connect them with it somehow, but also to show people in Des Moines and beyond what the Haitian community here is like, what their needs are, what their life is like. And so we came up with a lot of different ideas, and this one is really special to us. And I know Mia is here too and would attest to that. This is also, it's outside as part of the exhibit, which you'll be able to see, but also, or upstairs, you'll also be able to share this on YouTube with anybody. It's on the Art Center channel as well. The photographs are magical Brittany Brooke Crow, and you'll see why when you see them outside. And the interviews, Mia and Brittany and I interviewed 10 families, I believe, in the coldest days of January, quite literally, taking off every jacket and shoes every time we came in the house. There was a time that Mia was like, oh, it's 6 minutes away. And Brittany and I said, we're not walking. 6-minute walk. No. So, putting on all the jackets again, taking them off again. The participant homes were in Des Moines. The interviews were in all of these languages. The kids often spoke in English to us. And Creole was an option if they wanted to speak in Creole. There was a consent form. They understood in both languages, actually I think 3, what it was about. And we made sure we shared and asked if we could take photographs and so on. So some of the questions were about why and how they came to Iowa, what they like about Iowa and their home, if there's anything difficult for them here, what they miss about home, what they do that's similar to home here, and what they wish for their family's future here, as well as anything else they'd like to share. For why they came, violence in Haiti, gang violence, people fighting among themselves. The president assassinated, many had come here since then, but they wanted to share that as an example of the kind of violence that people in Haiti experience. And lack of infrastructure, what draws them here is safety, work, housing, and the cost of living. As far as what they replicate here, food, music, and there's some events as well that they put on, like the Haitian Independence Day events. The first thing every single person mentioned, and obviously these are connections from Des Moines Refugee Support, was just how they feel like they're family here and how important that is to them. Then for what they miss. Many of them haven't seen their families in over 10 years, and that was what they miss. Good weather in the winter, so they're from a warm place, and this is not agreeing with them over here, and I understand that. And spending holidays in their own home, or holidays how it would be like in their hometowns. For challenging, finding work, paying bills, working hard, and because they're working hard, they have less time for kumbit, for community. So that was a big thing that they talked about. Learning English, uncertainty of migratory status. And one person said, nothing, I love it here, everything is great. What they hoped for in family, everybody was education. Opportunities, less challenges, and a couple of people did not have their children with them. And that's, by the way, another reason for migration out of Haiti often is for family reunification. So 2 people had their children in different countries. So one of them said that they really wanted Haitian leaders here for them in Des Moines. And tranquility is what they hope, and then papers. So here are the direct quotes. What do you like about Aya? How people help others, they treat them well, they hug them, I'm happy here. How people treat us, they're so kind, there's no racism. When one goes to the hospital, they're treated super well. Everything, there are hospitals, there are markets, there's everything. And one said, I don't have a mom and dad here, but I have family here, you're my family. That's why I go to church on Sunday to thank God. I'm always so happy here. I can call you for anything. My family is far and my country situation is complicated. So what do you hope? I want one day like you to do volunteer service to help people who come here. When I'm not here anymore, I want them to think, my dad left good things for me. My dad fought for me. I'm fighting for my son. I want to work to give my family in Haiti money so they can function. I want to get a job so I can study and get a good education for my daughters. A good future, that they can study and that they can have good thoughts. A lot of it was about the children having good thoughts. So I want some children's responses because that was fun. What do you like about it? That they give you candy. Who? My school. I like that there's lots of soccer, and at least 2 kids mentioned swimming pools. They'd like swimming pools, and Mia said she also very much likes swimming pools. So for the future, 2 of the boys said, I want to play soccer, and so Des Moines Refugee Support helps a lot of the children in Des Moines have access to soccer and other after-school activities and camp, so they play for Des Moines Soccer Club, but many of them want to be soccer players. When we got to Chile and other countries, not everyone, there are good people and bad ones. Sometimes they said mean things to us, and that was hard. In Pennsylvania, there were people, even with my same skin color, that bothered me, but that never affected me. And one said, I want people to know that my mom and dad are my heroes. For about Iowa, what do you like about Iowa? What do you need for Iowa? And so on. So we need a Haitian representative to help guide us because we are alone here without a Haitian leader. We help from people like you, but that's all. So they like the idea of somebody helping organize, and that's kind of missing in central Iowa. I was 9 months pregnant when we came. I had 11 to 13 days left. I didn't have a lot of money, but they helped me get it all. We didn't expect anything when we came, but it was like the house of God. I smile every day because I never thought that when I would get to Iowa, so many people would help us. So many people were helping us with so much love, and we're so happy and thankful. We found work in a house. We're well, thank God. In Florida, you could have money and not have a house. Work is hard. Here in Iowa, there's good pay. Everything is good for my family. There were families in Florida that were sharing 1 bedroom within a larger space. And it was a mom, not pictured, but a mom and a dad and 3 kids, and she was pregnant, and they wouldn't let them use the kitchen. And it was just, you just rent a 1 bedroom. And they decided, that's it, we're moving. So many people move like mid-pregnancy or toward the end. When I told people in Florida I was coming to Iowa, they said, people there are racist. When I came here, it was different. I've been observing. Last year, there was a lot of snow. The people of Iowa, they got out of their cars happy to help. What they said wasn't true. In my job, my boss helps me. I never saw what they said about racism in Iowa. People are always happy when they worry about you and they want to help me. I am happy with the people of Iowa. Okay, here's some photos now, the fun part. These are behind the scenes photos of the exhibit that you'll see outside. Yeah, selfies were encouraged. And Mia and Brittany played with all the children and held all the children. And it was a lot of fun. And we started realizing also that curtains were a big thing. There were curtains in all but one house of people who had just moved here, but it was a big part of everything. Here's Brittany, the baby's checking out the photos. And there's more quotes outside, by the way, so I hope you read those too. And there had just been a birthday, that's why we had some balloons up there. Juslan asked for the photo herself, and then it was up on her WhatsApp story that same day. Here's Mia playing with children. And Brittany playing with children. I really want to say, and Mia will attest to this too, we were extremely welcome in each home and just hung out and had fun and were a part of the family for a little bit. Obviously, I'm not a photographer, as you can tell by this photo, but you can see Mia's photo outside. Brittany's photo outside, and really, really appreciate the beauty of what she did. And it's a magical, magical exhibit within an exhibit. So I hope you enjoy it upstairs in a second. Okay, what's next? So we have an exciting cooking class with Culinary Annex coming up that you can learn about it on the Des Moines Art Center page. It's up on the page, right, Mia? Yes? Okay, May 30th, Mia and I will be there, as well as other people, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Based on how they described everybody here, from their perception, Iowa's been a welcoming place to them, and I think we have a responsibility now and always to continue welcoming people. And so there are a lot of opportunities to do that, and they could be a one-day thing or an everyday thing, like my full-time unpaid job. But I think it's really important to try to see how we can help welcome people, especially when they need it most. So for me, that's a big what's next, and I hope that all of us can do that on some level, whether it's something small or something large. Before I say all the thank yous, I'm super honored to be a part of this panel. I'm like Fredo and Sean and Petrushka. It's a complete honor. I've learned a lot today from everybody, and it's a joy to be here, and thank you so much for having us.